So Judy, the last call we finished with the idea of when the vision and the heart wants to reappear. And the question was around some organizations that we've seen, and I'm making a judgment here talking about maybe what happened with Fukushima, British Columbia, with the mining companies, with the sludge coming in. And I am sure there are a number of people that can come up with all sorts of organizations that don't seem to have a heart. And I asked you, have you seen companies that appear to not have a heart to approach people like yourself, people like Jan Jakob Stam, people that look at the situation systemically? And you said yes. You said they do come forward. And you said
yes, they do.
And you said it's when the vision and the heart wants to reappear. Tell me more about when the vision and the heart wants to reappear.
So first of all, just a very important piece, and that's to be aware of the money bit, because what I also heard was they may just be invested in the bottom dollar. It's very important that they're invested in the bottom dollar. Money is a wonderful commodity. You've heard me speak about this a lot. It's one of my favorite subjects. It's a wonderful thing, and we don't want to disrespect it. It's the circulatory system of the world. Now, what happens sometimes is it may look like the system has no heart. I would guess that most times it has a heart. There are a couple of things. Many times we say it was ruthless or it wasn't taking care of its people. When it doesn't take care of its people, we know that in systems, if you make money off the backs of the people without due regard, then many times subsequent generations find a way to give that money back. In other words, they have accidents. They implode. They have to declare bankruptcy. We know this. We see this. What happens is the original intent for the organization may have been lost. It's one of the reasons I ask people to tell me the story of how the company was founded. Because in the story of how the company was founded is often the big why. Why was it created? The great passion. I wanted to do something because. And it is in conjunction with wanting to make money, and you should, because it has great benefits. There is a great desire for something to make a difference. Sometimes we lose sight of that and we default over to you can't do that, it must make the bottom dollar, without regard for the human capital. When that happens, human capital finds a way to balance, and you may have accidents, you may simply have reckoning ways that want to be reconciled. However, at some point, if the organization wants to go forward, you've got to get in touch with what was the original intent, what was the heart behind it, and what is the story. Because in that heart is a lot of the gold. Mm-hmm. And you also want to know, here's what I see often. Oh my goodness, we did everything wrong. We've been terrible. We have to do it differently. Well, what you've just done then is you've excluded everything that got you to this point. So again, you're going back to an exclusion. You really want to acknowledge this got us this far. We can do it differently this way. We want to see the heart reestablished, but it has to be in harmony with profitability, with ambition, with drive, and with direction. Otherwise, there is simply not much reason for it to exist. It needs a place to go to. It needs a goal. So for us to think that to get the heart back is everything is not true. It's got to be back in harmony with the processes and the mechanisms that have gotten it this far. It's very important to acknowledge all.
That's a really precious piece, because what I've seen is the either or.
Yeah.
So I hear this is the way and the blame, yes, and the blame going both ways, because it's because you didn't use heart, and you've got to use all heart. And yes, this is important, but this has to be the primary importance. It has to be all about heart. And this person over here says, no, it's all left brain if you don't follow the left brain. So in essence, what you're really saying is we have to take a center-brained approach to this.
Absolutely. And we have to be in touch with our origins. In organizations, if you're in touch with your origins, it means you're consistent and congruent with the original vision and mission statement. If you're not, you'll see that people say, no, we're going to do it this way. Well, now they've just excluded the whole vision and mission statement, and you can get a split in the organization. One half are going to be loyal to the original idea, and the other half are going to be loyal to the new idea, and neither of them understand why they can't come together.
All right.
So when all is acknowledged, all can come together.
So have you ever seen where the original mission statement has changed totally?
I've seen it change, and that one of two things can happen. If it changes and nobody's been told about it, or not everybody's been told about it, again, one half are loyal to the old way, the other half are loyal to the new way. I've also seen it on the very odd occasion, but it's there, where they acknowledge, thanks to you, we can now do this. So essentially it's asking almost for permission to move. What they recognized is this piece is outdated and no longer serves us, so we want to change it, but thanks to you, we have the ability to do that. So each one has its place, and in that case, you're in a good place. And the same holds true for products. If you have a new product that you suddenly slide in at the expense of the original old product, you have a chance that the new product may not find its footing.
That's similar, going back to employees. So let's get rid of all employees that are over the age of 60 because they're not producing anymore. And let's only bring in employees that are 40 years old or 30 years old now.
Well, they can't, because they know I'm next. When I reach that point, I'm next. And of course, that's what we've spoken about before, is it's becoming more widely known that your new wave of entrepreneurs are not just the up-and-coming youngsters. It's the older folk who are saying, excuse me, I have experience, I have expertise, I don't want to retire.
Right.
And so you're seeing them start their own businesses or do a second and third round. And in fact, the other piece that's also increasingly apparent and highly intriguing for me is working with entrepreneurs who've already made it. They've made it. They've made it big.